Hey y'all, how y'all doing? What's up? What's up? So y'all, I what do they call begrudgingly begrudgingly watched Love and Marriage Huntsville last night, y'all. But I was glad that I did because I was, with just, what I'm going to do? I'm going to take myself out of all the stuff going on in the YouTube streets and just focus on the things, okay? Focus on the right things. All right, y'all. So I watched the review last night and not the not the review. I watched the show last night and it was good. It was actually good. I was very pleased with all of the things because I felt like we got somewhere last night. Okay? So let's get into it. First, we start off the scene with the all-white dinner party. This is the end. This is the last night of the girls' trip. Everyone's dressed all in white. Everyone's there. They're looking gorgeous. They're looking beautiful. Everyone except for Stormy and Trish, of course, which is okay, they're gone. All right, let's move on. Whatever. So Melody's there. She's like, it's the last night. I'm hosting this party. I just want to, her whole thing was let's end this out on doing our best to end it out on a good note. Let's end it out with good vibes. Okay. So she's like, yeah, let's sit down. Let's talk about, basically she was saying she enjoyed how everybody was able to come together and try to be, in unison and trying to just make this thing happen. Now, of course, it's a show. So she's not saying we all friends, we all lovey-dovey. It's just that we did a good job about pretty much just being able to pull this off. So Melody makes a statement that she's really happy that they all were able to, kind of get together. She said, we've all been able to laugh. We all have been able to cut up a little bit and try to resolve things. Now, mind you all, the whole time, Destiny is sitting there rolling her eyes with this extremely sour look on her face and pouting the entire time. And so everybody's like, yeah, this is, Kimmy's like, it's my first time really doing a girls trip. No surprise. Tisha's like, yeah, me too. No surprise. I wonder that's why did they decide to recreate that experience with the live that they did like a month ago. But anyway. And so they're like, yeah, we've had a pretty good time. Lauren makes a statement that she says she's glad to be there. She came with being around a bunch of women that she did not know, but she said for the most part she enjoyed herself and she enjoyed being able to see everyone trying to resolve their issues and whatever, and she was just very happy about that. So after Lauren made that statement, Melody was like, yeah, you know how Melody do. She was like, yeah, she's all clapping. Melody is a Kiki. Y'all be thinking she just be acting bougie, but Melody is a Kiki. She's a goofball. A lot of stuff she be doing, she's doing it because she knows that everybody's not on the same page, and she's just trying to, put a little humor in the situation. But people be doing too much, trying to say she's so fake. She be joking and playing around just like the rest of y'all be doing. But anyway, so she's like, yay, everybody starts clapping, like, yeah, this is great. Everybody starts clapping. Not Melody, Destiny just sits there and just looking at everybody up and down like, what, like, whatever. And so Melody, she's, Melody is a Kiki. She said, Destiny, you don't agree? And Destiny was like, let me see what I wrote down. She said, what did she say? She's like, I'm just saying, I don't have to do what everybody else is doing, do I? Girl, go home. Like, go, everybody pull her plate from in front of her and go ahead and grab her by the arm and escort her right on out the room. That was so unnecessary. And then she goes in her confessional and says, can we just be ourselves? Can we be real? Being real negative and doing too much unnecessarily. She's like, it's just too much ass kissing for me. What? So because everybody's trying to get along and it ain't everybody piling Melody at the table and everybody just trying to have a good time, it's too much ass kissing and you just ain't here for it. See, that goes back to the whole thing with let me not even get ahead of myself. So then the situation comes up. So Destiny decides at that time to be like, well, I mean, just for me, here she go with the bullshit. Just for me, it was just uncomfortable for me to have one of my friends bringing up my ex having a child with another woman, blah blah, womp 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 womp. Neil apologizes for it and everything, but it's like, once again, it's like Melody said, Destiny is about having these damn moments, and it's, somebody definitely put a battery in her back. Like, Destiny, you gonna steal the show? You the it girl? You know how Carlos does. He did it with Tisha. With Tisha trying to act like she was a super mom and a super businesswoman, and it failed tragically because that wasn't who Tisha really was and is. And Destiny came in with the same thing, like, you girl, come and get your things. You know what I mean? So she decided she gonna come and try to get all her things. So she thinks she about to just read everybody down because people done put a battery in her back. And it's like, Destiny, you're not that girl. You're not her. Okay? You're somebody that has a lot of healing to do, and you need to quit being so damn negative. So she goes on to this whole thing about Sonny and the kid, and Sonny basically snaps on her and whatever, and people's like, oh wow, you just kind of coming in on her. But anyway, we ain't even gonna get on to that because their situation is old, it's annoying, and at this point, everybody pretty much has moved on. Like, everybody is moving on to the next thing. So it was pointless as to why she decided to bring that up. But Destiny's here by getting the check and trying to secure herself for I guess this is the next season, because this is season 9. Makes no sense. But anyway, that was Destiny and Sonny's whole thing at the all-white dinner party. Oh, I almost forgot to mention this. So I did want to bring up, I thought this was really sweet, and it was a nice gesture. Now, come on, y'all, it's TV. They know that everything's not going to be kumbaya. But at the end of the dinner party, Melody, she said a poem. People was rolling their eyes at the table while she was saying the poem. Tisha and Destiny specifically rolling their eyes the whole time. And she hands out these white roses. She was like passing them out to each lady. It's like, here's to new beginnings. And she's passing out to everybody. And I thought that was really nice. It was a real nice closeout to the girls' trip. Of course, it don't mean everybody about to be friends. Of course, it don't mean all issues are resolved. But it was a nice gesture, and I thought it was really cute. All right, so the next scene is the most annoying couple on the show. Ken and Trish, y'all. Okay. So they show Ken and Trish pulling up to have, I guess, like a lunch somewhere. And they get to talking about the whole Martell situation. And let's see. But let's first get into how Trish decided to make an unnecessary ass comment. So they're talking about how Trish starts talking about how Dr. Shanita was going in on her, trying to say that her situation with Ken was similar to the situation with Sonny and Moses. They go back and forth about, of course, how that's not how it's far-fetched, blah, blah, blah. Okay, to me, it's the same type of thing when you want to try to talk about morals. I see what she was saying was like, you can't try to speak about somebody's morals when you out here ain't living right. I mean, you know what I mean? I get that point. It's not the same situation, but it's basically like how you trying to throw a rock at somebody else's glass house. Why are you trying to throw a rock at somebody else's house when you throwing it in the glass house of your own? And it was like, Trish, you need to sit down somewhere because you're not this pure, balanced, moral. You're not coming from that type of place. You need to just have a seat someplace where you're trying to be all on, acting like you can't stand Sonny, acting like you can't stand Melody, two people you don't even know, and your shit ain't right. Okay? So when they had that conversation, she was like, well, yeah, Dr. Shanita. And then Ken's like, well, who's Dr. Shanita? She's like, I don't know. One of Melody's puppets. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to get back into Trish and her little messed up comments. So then Ken is like, well, I don't understand what the big deal about that is. Plenty of people move on while they're still married, while they're separated, they move on into other relationships. Trish gonna hurry up and say, yep, Melody did it. once again, Trish, how do you have so much energy and animosity towards a woman you don't even know when you were the one that was in that woman's marital home? Supposedly, allegedly, that's what it's adding up to look like the situation was. How do you have so much animosity towards this woman? And that's what another thing makes me believe, girl, yes, you busted down for Martell. You busted it down for Martell. That's where it comes from. Because there's no reason you can have so much negative energy towards somebody who ain't never did nothing to you. Okay? And then she says in there, well, yeah, I didn't appreciate them bringing it up. I didn't appreciate Stormy and Tisha bringing it up because I was wanting to talk to Melody about it myself, on one-to-one, woman-to-woman. Bullshit, Trish. I call BS on that because Trish, you definitely give me, I'm gonna try to play cute and quiet in the back. I won't be the little church mouse in the back of the church. Like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna be back here doing all kind of mess, wreaking all kind of havoc, but I don't want nobody paying attention to me. I'm just gonna try to play it cute, like, don't watch me. I'm not a threat. That's what she gives me. She gives me very sneaky, and y'all, I've been saying that since the very beginning of Trish coming on the show. She gives me sneaky. I don't like that lady, but I don't like her character. Let's put it like this. Let me clean it up. I don't like this lady's character on this show. So it gives me, I wouldn't like her in real life. Okay. Let's put it like that. So yeah, she goes into saying that. And then let's see what else. Then she goes into this other little cue. She says, she heard and says, it don't even matter because I was separated at the time and Martell was separated. Martell and Melody was separated. And Ken is trying to hush her up, but this is what it seems like. It seems like Trish went and prepared her position and her argument, okay, for the situation. Like, she finally got a clue and decided, well, if I'm going to tell this story, let me figure out how to tell it in a way that makes me not look so bad. That's what done happen, y'all. Trish didn't have herself together. Somebody lied to her and told her she can just show up on this show and pretend like things never happened between her and Martell. Or people brought her on this show with her not thinking that anybody was going to ever bring it up. Because she definitely was not prepared to discuss the situation. Her nor Martell. And it seems like now she finally, at this point in the season, she finally went and said, okay, let me figure out how to formulate my argument so that I don't look that bad. I don't come off as being a thought. Girl, you definitely looking like a thought. And then Ken's just sitting there looking all super uncomfortable, like, girl, please just be quiet. Because Ken knows what's up. He knows what the real situation is. He just wants her to be quiet so people will quit talking crap about him because he knows she ain't telling him the truth. And so then, this is another interesting thing, y'all. Ken starts talking about, like, yeah, I don't understand why he bringing it up and this and that. He was like, I don't understand why he keeps saying this stuff that when things didn't go, nothing went down with you all. He said, because if I had never been with the woman, I wouldn't try to make it seem like I've been with her. Yeah, let's see how he said. He said, if I haven't ever been with one, I'm not going to make it seem like I have. When he says this, y'all, and I'm putting a clip here, Trish looks so uncomfortable, like she wanted to just like skyrocket out of that seat and get away from answering or being in that situation at the moment.
And if I ain't never been with a woman, I ain't gonna try to make it seem like I have. That's just weird. Yeah, that's like my almost lying on you, it's just a man thing. It's like, hey, bro.
So then, y'all, they jump into the conversation about them needing to have a sit down with Marquez, the three of them. And Ken's basically like, we gonna have this conversation, but we're not about to be trying to appease his feelings in this conversation. And Trish is like, yeah, I hope. Who knows? You never know with me. Ken is looking at her like, girl, what? What do you, he just kind of like shook his head like, man, that's that BS. Ken, get out, okay? Get out now while you can. Because another thing I want to bring up, every time Ken brings up marriage to her, she did it while they was at this lunch table, and she's going to do it again later in this episode. Every time Ken brings up the word marriage, again, Trish looks like she wants to hop in a rocket and just fly right out of space and get out of that situation. And it's like, Trish, you are a grown ass woman. You are a grown ass woman. Why can't you just say, I'm not ready for marriage right now? I know that this is what we've been talking about, but you're going to have to be patient with me. It literally is that simple. And if he's in love with her like it looks like he is, Ken will be okay with that. Like, what's the big deal with that? Why can't you just say, I'm not ready to get married right now because I still got this situation going on with my ex, and I'm just not feeling like I'm ready to jump into that at this moment. What is the problem with that? This is why I just can't with Trish. I just can't. I just cannot with her. Because she does this look again later when they're at the table with her, Ken and Marquez. He mentions the word marriage. Every time he says the word marry you, marriage, she looks like she wants to just disappear, disintegrate or something. It's ridiculous. So I'm just going to skip over. They do a scene with Kimmy and Maurice are sitting down talking about Trish and Ken's situation. Basically, the both of them agree that Trish ain't telling the truth. She ain't been 100% honest, okay? And so next scene is Marceau and Tisha. And this was another important part of this episode that I really enjoyed. So I love how Marceau reels Tisha in, because Tisha be ready to be with the BS, and Marceau's, most of the time, honestly, Marceau don't be here for it. So Tisha's basically like, giving them a little rundown about the girls' trip, and she was like, yeah, that was kind of cool. They also talk about the Ken and Trish thing, whatever, and it's like both of them agreed things ain't adding up and ain't making sense. But then it goes into Tisha's like, yeah, and Melody and Destiny kind of resolved their issues. That was a pretty good thing. But she's like, I don't understand why, why Melody is like trying to say that she thinks that Destiny has something going on with Martell. Like, basically, like, Melody was just overreacting and reaching in a situation. But Marcel is like, well, Martell has been making little comments about Law looking like him, Destiny's son Law looking like him. So that's probably why Melody is thinking that they possibly had something going on, because the comments that Martell is making. And then Tisha finally gets this look on her face like, oh, I thought it was going to be a gang up on Melody and Martell situation moment here, but I see you ain't rocking with that, so I'm just going to go ahead and backpedal and act like I agree and I'm going along with the situation. And she was like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, Tisha, you was already ready to talk trash about Melody and how Melody is just being ridiculous and doing too much, not knowing the whole time that there's something in the background. Well, Tisha be knowing this stuff. She just be she wants to ride the don't like Melody hate train, because we can tell with Tisha, her self-esteem is not that great, especially when it comes to her trying to appease and get the attention of her husband. And she can clearly tell that Marceau has some type of admiration towards Melody, and Tisha can't stand that. If there's any moment, no matter how nice Melody's being to Tisha wants to be able to talk trash about Melody, point blank, and the period. So y'all, there's a rumor going around so this is allegedly that Destiny's Child's paternity was in question, and Martell, a rumor, allegedly was brought in as one of the people that could be a possibility. So I think that has a little bit to do with this whole little possible situation between Destiny and Martell. I just wanted to add that in there, just for you all who may not know that. So in the last scene, we have Trish, Ken, and Marquez all sitting down, discussing the situation, discussing Marquez being absent, discussing Ken not trying to come in and just take over his dad, but he's letting them know, like, if I'm coming in a woman's life, I'm going to be fully in her life, and that's my role. That's what Ken's telling Marquez, like, that's my role, that's my position. Marquez like, yeah, but you gotta understand how I feel. You taking my baby in the night, blah 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 blah, and now I'm not there. And Trish is like, boy, you've been having the opportunity to be there. You live 5 minutes away. What's your excuse? Quit with all the the theatrics, okay? And so they just go back and forth with that. They finally get to the point where Marquez hands Trish the divorce papers. Trish asks for a pen. She's, I guess, signs it at the table. You see her putting it in a little envelope. So I'm guessing she's taking it out the door with her to go file it at the courthouse. And then I know I'm wrong for this, but it was kind of funny to me how they ended the scenes. they oh, I'm so wrong for this. But they show Marquez sitting at the table crying. I'm sorry, y'all. I know that's wrong. They show him at the table with his head down. They fade to black basically while he with his head down. He crying at the table by himself. Girl. But he brought that on himself. You don't just up and leave your family and then try to be mad when somebody else comes in and tries to pick up your slack. Like, that's utterly ridiculous. So, but at the same time, the both of them were really young when they got together, and he probably needed to grow up, and he did not do that. So he handled that in the worst way possible by choosing to be like, oh, I want to be free to be me after you've already created a family. But anyway, yeah, so that's all, y'all. That's all for this episode. Y'all leave a comment below. Let me know what y'all think about that whole situation with Destiny and Martell and that paternity situation. What are y'all thoughts about that? Y'all think there's any credence to that? And then on top of that, how do y'all feel about Trish having so much animosity towards Melody, and Melody ain't did nothing to her? So anyway, y'all have a wonderful day, and I will chat with you guys later. Bye-bye for now.